What if I told you that before a woman cheats, long before the betrayal, she leaves subtle clues like breadcrumbs in the forest? The problem? Most men are too blind, too in love, or too hopeful to notice. But what if you could spot the signs before your heart gets shattered? Welcome to the uncomfortable truth, backed by female psychology, guarded by Stoic wisdom. Stay alert, because what you're about to learn could save you from emotional ruin. Oh, and if you think my girl would never do that, you might want to buckle up. She just might be starring in this script. 1. Emotional distance creeps in Stoicism. Detachment is a virtue. But in relationships, unexpected emotional detachment, it's a warning shot. A cheating woman doesn't ghost emotionally overnight. It's gradual. First, the warm texts cool down. Then the long conversations become robotic replies. The small gestures like checking in, complimenting you, or laughing at your jokes begin to vanish. Suddenly, her eyes don't sparkle when you enter the room. They avoid yours. She's present but absent, like a ghost haunting her own relationship. Women are emotionally driven. If she's cheating, chances are her heart has already checked out, even before her body does, and she'll create emotional distance to rationalize her actions. She can't face the emotional contradiction, so she starts to retreat. She's just tired. It's not Mercury in retrograde, it's detachment with a side of guilt. From a psychological lens, when someone emotionally withdraws, it's because they're already investing elsewhere, mentally or emotionally. And when emotional needs are being met by another person, the original partner feels like a burden rather than a bond. But emotional withdrawal is only the first crack in the mask. What happens when her time becomes a mystery? Let's talk about that. 2. Her schedule becomes a maze time tells truths people try to hide. Suddenly her schedule is packed, late meetings, girls' nights she didn't used to have, errands that mysteriously take hours. You ask her about her day and get vague replies like, it was fine, nothing interesting. The pattern changes, but the story stays vague. Behavioral psychology teaches us that cheaters subconsciously seek opportunities while covering their tracks. And they often don't lie directly. They just manipulate time and details so you stop asking. You might hear her say, I lost track of time, or my phone died, or I just needed some space. A Stoic man observes without attachment. You don't need to accuse, just watch. As Epictetus said, appearances are impressions, not facts, but they often foreshadow the truth. She went to Target for 3 hours and came back without a single bag. Yeah, sure. Maybe she thought the entire Roman army while picking out shampoo. Here's the trick. Cheaters will always craft a believable narrative with just enough normality to pass your suspicion filter. But here's where it gets colder, when her need for privacy suddenly turns into paranoia. 3. Sudden privacy and phone secrets. Once upon a time, her phone was just a phone. Now, it's Fort Knox. She used to leave it on the couch. Now it's glued to her hand. Face down, locked, silent. She smiles at texts you're not allowed to see. She guards it like it holds nuclear codes. You go near her phone and she reacts like you just tried to disarm a bomb. In female psychology, secrecy often signals emotional displacement. She may not even be cheating yet, but emotionally, she's feeding a new connection and feels the need to protect it. Think of emotional cheating as a gateway drug. It begins with innocent messages that turn into digital intimacy, and that's often more dangerous than physical cheating. You try to borrow her phone and she suddenly turns into John Wick, not because you're wrong, but because she has something to lose. As a Stoic, your job isn't to panic. Don't chase what she hides. Observe the pattern. Jealousy clouds reason. Clarity requires composure. But what if she's not just hiding, but rewriting reality to justify her guilt? 4. Gaslighting and psychological reversal. Gaslighting is the cheater's favorite mirror. It makes you question yourself. She starts fights over nothing. She accuses you of being distant, insecure, or too controlling while giving you every reason to feel that way. She flips the script so often you feel dizzy. Suddenly, you're the one who's always wrong. This is psychological warfare. It's projection. She's putting her guilt on you so she doesn't have to confront it herself. This stage is dangerous, not just to your heart, but to your mind. Prolonged gaslighting makes you question your instincts. And when you stop trusting yourself, betrayal can destroy you twice. First through her actions, then through your own denial. You caught her whispering to a coworker at 11 p.m., and now somehow you're apologizing for being insecure? Houdini couldn't pull that off. She creates a reality where you're too confused to confront the truth. And that gives her space to keep doing what she's doing without consequence. When the guilt becomes unbearable, she doesn't break. She just overcorrects. 5. Unusual kindness and over-affection. The most confusing sign, she starts acting perfect. More kisses, more compliments, gifts. She becomes more attentive. She plans date nights. Sends sweet messages, but it feels off, like she's trying to make up for something because she is. In guilt psychology, people often overcompensate to maintain their self-image. Women especially struggle with dissonance between their actions and identity. So they try to balance the scale. She tells herself, if I'm being extra kind, I'm not really a bad person. So she drowns you in attention, not out of love, but to mask betrayal. Don't be seduced by sweet lies dressed as affection. As Marcus Aurelius said, the closer a man is to the truth, the clearer he must see through the fog of pleasure. She went from ice queen to cuddle monster overnight. That's not growth, that's guilt in disguise. But the final sign, it's not subtle, it's explosive, and it almost always means it's too late. 6. She ends it first or forces you to. Here's the final mask. She'll end it before you do. Either she'll manufacture a dramatic reason to leave or accuse you of being the problem. Or worse, she'll give you an ultimatum that sounds like, maybe we should take a break. This is projection. She wants out but doesn't want to feel like the villain. So she pushes you into ending it or creates chaos that makes you retreat. She might pick unnecessary fights, sabotage the relationship, weaponize your insecurities, and when you finally reach your limit and walk away, she gets to play the victim. It's a psychological tactic. Create the break, then blame the other person. Don't beg, don't bargain. A woman who wants to leave has already left emotionally. The Stoic way, hold your ground, let go with grace, let your silence say what your pain cannot. She drops the I need space bomb right after a mysterious weekend away. Coincidence? Only if you believe in unicorns. Why men miss these signs? Now you might be wondering, why didn't I see it? Here's why. 1. Love blinds reason. When a man is invested, he filters red flags through hope. 2. Many men are taught to suppress suspicion, believing it's toxic or insecure. 3. Cheaters don't look like villains. They smile. They kiss you goodnight. They play the role until they don't. Men miss the signs because they want to believe in loyalty because trusting feels better than doubting. But Stoicism doesn't ask you to distrust. It asks you to observe without illusion. Be honest, are you watching her actions or your fantasy of her? The signs are always there. It's not about paranoia, it's about awareness. A wise man doesn't react, he recognizes. A stoic man doesn't chase, he observes. And a high-value man doesn't beg to stay, he walks away with dignity. If this video opened your eyes even a little, do one thing like subscribe and share it with a brother who might be blind to these signs. The truth might hurt, but ignorance, that destroys. Stay grounded, stay sharp, stay stoic.